Hey indie game fans! January was a pretty great month for indie games, but in the midst of all of that are some indie games which you might have missed. Do note that some of these titles are not universally loved, but nonetheless I found to be at least interesting or unique. As always, we will begin with some quick picks worth checking out. The sentiment seemed to have really turned on Feudal Alloy, which is a hand-drawn Metroidvania starring fish-controlled medieval robots. Being a fan of the genre, I did enjoy my time with this game with quite a huge map to explore, fun Metroidvania abilities, challenging combat, and very pretty art. Worbital is a real-time galactic artillery game with a little bit of Worm's DNA in this, and some impressive gravity modeling. While perhaps not the most scientifically accurate, neat game nonetheless. Religion was one of my most anticipated RTS indie games for 2019, and again, another one with a little bit of a mixed reception, mainly due to some reports of bugs and it lacking some polish. However, the cyberpunk setting is intriguing, and you play as the prophets of a cult and have to lead the masses to overthrow the government and the elite, who are subjugating and exploiting the population. Rather than just training troops out of a building, you need to convert the citizens and then train them, so the literal human resources as a factor in this game is pretty interesting. YIIK, a postmodern RPG, is a surreal JRPG with a trippy world and a fascinating central mystery, and again, is another game with a very mixed reception, and justifiably so, with the main reason being that the main character, Alex, is an insufferable prick. Perhaps it was the writer's intention to present the character in such a light, with some possible redemption arc down the line, but within the first couple of minutes, I strongly disliked the character, and as a result, it was tough to stick with this game. However, that aside, the combat is interesting, utilizing a variety of weapons in quotation marks, with some cool, quick-time events and wacky enemies. The overworld exploration also includes puzzle elements, so a pretty interesting game, shall we say. In the face of feedback and complaints, the developers are continuing to tweak the game, so perhaps wait for a little while and check it out down the road. Finally, She and the Lightbearer is a beautiful point-and-click adventure game about a firefly in the woods seeking out the mother deep in the heart of the forest. Shying away from the obscure puzzles of the old school games, this is perhaps a little on the easier side, but it is a sight to behold for sure. Moving on, here are the top 5 indie games you might have missed in January 2019. JackQuest, The Tale of the Sword, is an action platformer with some light Metroidvania elements from a one-man Brazilian indie developer NX Games. Simple, neat pixel art, challenging boss fights, and a gigantic sword, which may perhaps be the main protagonist of the story. Knight of the Blood Moon is a small-scale, top-down roguelite in the vein of games like Nuclear Throne, where you play as a nightmare invading the land of dream creatures during the Blood Moon. With a variety of weapons, interesting upgrades within a run, and some good feeling action, this joins games like Mana Spark as a quick, almost coffee break style roguelite, which serves as a good palate cleanser to dip back into every now and then.
We exist in a multiverse of countless life forms and alternate dimensions. Interdimensional travel has become commonplace, but so has interdimensional crime, which is why the Agents of Rift, regulators of interdimensional frontiers and technology, patrol these alternate dimensions, keeping the inhabitants safe from peril. Meet Zara Sinclair, one of Rift's top agents.
Double Cross is an action platformer from the creators of the platforming party game Runbow, where you play as an agent of the Intergalactic Police, more or less, and have to investigate and uncover a grand conspiracy within the organization. I love the high-def 2D art and character designs, and there are even adventure game style elements since you uncover clues and items and can investigate these by showing them to the right characters. Well worth checking out.
By other Rift agents that will help her decipher the clues and gain new evidence for the investigation. But she won't have it easy. She'll face dangerous criminals at every turn that will do whatever they can to stop her. And what's more, as Zara delves deeper into the investigation, she'll learn that not everyone can be trusted and not everything is as it seems.
Will you help Zara solve the case and save Rift?
DUNKYPUNG is a one-button arcade action game about bouncing a red ball between two sides of the screen while avoiding spikes, saw blades, and devious traps. The simplicity of this is fantastic, and while perhaps best suited for phones, which it is available on, this has a compelling one more run gameplay loop and really is quite fun. Finally, Wukong vs Robot surprise launched and, like the previously mentioned Unruly Heroes, draws certain elements from the classic Chinese novel Journey to the West, with the main character, of course, being inspired by the Monkey King. This is a mini Metroidvania in the style of something like Super Scalimania, and is a good, short little experience for a couple of dollars that is well worth the investment. One of the more unique things is the XP system, where defeated enemies drop this currency, and you can then use it to purchase upgrades from stations, which are tucked away in secret little areas, which are your stand-in for Metroidvania style upgrades. There is a double jump, laser eyes, dashing, force fields, and more, so a good distillation of the genre, which takes the #1 spot of the month. For more indie games you might have missed, check out last month's video or watch my recommended playlist, and I will see you after the jump.